In this AMA video, I'm going to show you how to make your client documents look professional. This was a question that I was asked this week. So I'm just going to show you kind of some Word options, including building your own and using templates, and how to customize your colors and just how to make it all look professional. So the first one is this one. I've just chosen one of my Build It Brilliant documents, and we're going to rebuild this. This is probably the simplest one because it's just got my logo on it, some writing, and my copyright at the bottom. So this one's quite an easy one. I'm also going to show you an invoice and how to set up an invoice. So if you're at the point where you're not at the point where you want to use a sort of financial software in order to create your invoices, you're just going to create them on your own manually, then a way you could do that as well. So first one, we're just going to recreate this one. So this is instructions for Zoom. So we're just going to do that. And let me copy and paste a little bit of this, just so that you know we would write whatever it is that you want to write. And imagine I've just kept the text. So imagine that this was the document that I started. I've just copied and pasted it just to save some time and given us some content to work with. But you would write your document. So yours might start off looking like this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a header. I'm just going to click a blank one, and I'm also going to insert a footer as well, just a blank one. So then we get these little bits at the top and at the bottom. I don't want to type, but I do want my logo image, so I'm going to insert a picture from file. I'm going to find my logo. So I have various different logos that I want to use. So this one is just like the main Build It Brilliant logo. We're going to insert that, come up the top. And then we're going to resize that so that it is logo sized. We're going to change, sometimes it comes up with like alt text, which is if people are blind or whatever, so they can see what the image is. But I'm just going to mark it as decorative so that they don't get the sort of alt text in it. And then we're going to go up here and we're going to put it to this side of the document. There we go. We're then going to format this. So we're going to have it in the middle. We're going to have it bigger. Probably even bigger than that. In order to help with my branding, there's only certain fonts that I will use because then all of my documents and all of my fonts are the same. So I use something called Comforter as mine. So it's here. And I also use Open Sans. So those are the two that I use. So you need to know what your fonts are, or just keep using the same fonts so that all of your documents look the same. A little bit of branding going on there. That is not doing it for some reason, so I'm going to have to find it. They might not have it. Sometimes within standard fonts, they don't have the one that you're looking for. I'm going. So that's why it's not doing this, is because it doesn't have Open Sans. So what have I used before? PT Sans I've used before because very similar. There we go. So we're going to underline this, and we're going to put this in bold, and we're going to make this a bit bigger. So this, as you can see now, is starting to look very much like this one. So I've got the title in bold. Size is this, 16. So this I want bold. There you go. So that's looking like it is. The bottom here at the footer, I'm going to click in here. I'm going to put that again. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to the middle, and I'm just going to put my copy right in here. What you will notice is when you double click off the footer there, now if I do something that's a new page, it will already have the same branding on it and the same copyright at the bottom because they're the header and the footer. So now if I enter text here, it will come up here and that page will have those as well. So there we go. That is how I make my Word documents look professional. For this one, I don't want people to be able to edit it, so I'm going to save it as a PDF version, which is pretty much the same as kind of laminating it. So then when you send it to people, then they're not going to be able to edit it and do anything with it. They're just going to be able to look at it. Some people do have PDF editors, but it's paid for service on systems. So like your average Joe person doesn't have PDF editors. So I'm going to save this as a PDF. So File, Save As. And all I would do is change this here to PDF and then save it. And then there we go. And we've got options here in terms of electronic distribution or best for printing. I'm going to choose best for printing, and then I'm just going to save it to my desktop for now. So export, and there we go. You will also need to save a Word copy as well, so that then you've got the copy to edit and you've got the copy that you can't edit. So save both of those. I've got a Word document and I've got a PDF version. Okay, so that's that one. The next one is if you want to do like an invoice template. So new from template, and we're going to choose a template. Word has quite a few kind of invoice templates, so you can pick like a basic invoice, or if you like the look of one of these, you could pick that, like a service invoice. I'm going to pick this top one that's just a service invoice. So with this, you can use colour templates. Now I use a Mac computer, and one of the challenges with Mac is it will only allow you to set a custom colour palette in PowerPoint and not in Word. I don't know why. It's frustrating and annoying, but it's just how it is. So in here, these colours, the background colours here, if you go into design and then themes, you'll get lots of different colour options here. So if you've got a brand that is quite, is green, for example, you just pick this one and it would go green. As you can see from this template, their settings aren't quite what you want, so this hasn't gone green. You can also change the titles and things like this, but the more you mess about with templates, I don't particularly like using templates because, as you can see, they start getting a bit messy quite quickly. So what I would do instead is, I'm still in the design header and I'm going to go to colours here, and as you can see, I've got a Build It Brilliant colour. Now that I have to set up in PowerPoint because I'm on a Mac. I'll show you how to do it. But if you are on a Mac and you're on a different computer, there will usually be an option at the bottom to change, to set custom colours, which you'll probably be able to do. But what I would do in this case is I'd choose grayscale, so it's grey, and then this here, I would change this image here to be my logo. So if you right click on this particular image, we can usually change the picture, change the graphic from a file. So I am once again going to find my logo and do it that way. So my main logo, full colour, there we go, insert. So now you can change these sizes, by the way, you can just drag and drop. So now I have a grey, but I have my Build It Brilliant background. Now, this is what they call a JPEG image. Now, I've done another AMA video about file types, but you can go and have a look at that one. But this one, can you see that it's got a white background to it? That's because it's a JPEG image. So the white background is part of the image. So if I wanted to change the picture from file, and I didn't want that, this is why it's good to have various different versions of your image. I have a PNG version of that image. So if I insert that, as you can see, it doesn't have the white background. So now it's got my colour on it and it looks branded, even though I've picked a grey colour. So I don't have to faff around with these themes. So now I can change any of this. I can add the date in here, so I can just click and add, Feb 2022. I can call it invoice number 2. I can put my company details in here. So you can literally just edit the information, and then you can delete things as well. So if I don't want this little box, this little thing here, I can right click on that and get rid of that. Let me just move my head. This little box here, I can right click and delete the table, so I can delete that out. So you can then make this invoice look quite professional, look how you want it to be. And again, you would save the Word copy, just as I did with the other one. So I've got an editable version, and I'd save it as a PDF and then send the PDF version to the customer. Now, colours, just to show you how to do that. Let me open up PowerPoint. I just want a blank one. If I go to design here and just click this down arrow, it will come up with colours. Ooh, once again, my head's in the way. So it will come up with my colours here. Colours, and here at the bottom, can you see it says customise colours? I'd click on that, and then on here you can choose, you can call it something, so call it this. And then in here, if you click on them, you can choose your hex colours or your RGB, which is red, green and blue colours. Or there's a little pipette here, and if you've got a website, you can have your website up. Let me do it on Refresh Minds. So if I had Refresh Minds up on here, and I wanted this orange, let me move this out of the way. I could take this little pipette and move it onto this orange, and it would give me that orange colour. So you choose all the different colours that you want. So you've got a dark background, a light background, a dark 2, a light 2, and then all these accent colours, your hyperlinks, all these kinds of things. You would call it something, and then you would click save. And that is how I created, if we go back into Word, this is how I created when I click on my colours and it says bib. And I click on that, and that is all my accent colours, and it then gives me all the colours that I want. As you can see from this invoice, this format, this template, they've got some kind of gradient on the background. So even when I choose my colours, it doesn't quite come up correctly. So if that's the case, you can mess around with these, but usually I think it's too much faffing and too much time. So I would just click grayscale and put my logo on it, so it's got my colours on it. So there you go. I hope that has helped you to create professional looking client documents. That's it for this week's AMA, and I will see you next week for the next AMA.